Welcome to Lesson 2 of the free Anxiety Relief course. In this lesson, you'll learn the second cognitive distortion. It's called overgeneralization. Overgeneralization is kind of like having a bird poop on your car and then saying, "Why is it always my car that gets pooped on?" One negative event happens, and you see it as a never-ending pattern of defeat. It's kind of like all-or-nothing thinking, but all or nothing is when you define yourself as a success or a failure. Overgeneralization is more like dropping ice cream on your shirt and saying, "Ugh, I always get ice cream on my shirt." You make one mistake and think, "I always make this mistake." Or you can overgeneralize the future with thoughts like, "I'll never get a girlfriend." Do you see why that's a cognitive distortion? The event only happened once, but you think as if it's happened over and over, and it will keep happening for the rest of your life. This is what the world looks like through the glasses of overgeneralization. The key to overcoming it is to recognize that among the negative events, there are many positive events as well. Do you want to see some examples? Susie notices a typo in her report after she turns it in. She says, "I never do anything right." It's almost impossible to have never done anything right. Susie tied her shoes correctly earlier that morning. What should she think instead? One thing she could say is, "I made one mistake, but I did 7 or 8 things correctly." This is a more rational, objective response, and it'll make Susie feel a lot better than saying she's never done anything right. Even if Susie made 7 or 8 mistakes and only did one thing right, the phrase, "I never do anything right," is still false. Let's do one more example. Gary is late for work and thinks, "I'm never on time for anything. I'm such a screw-up." This is actually 2 cognitive distortions in one. Can you tell which part is overgeneralization and which is all-or-nothing thinking? The sentence, "I'm never on time for anything," is overgeneralization because it implies a repeating pattern of defeat. And "I'm such a screw-up" is all-or-nothing thinking because Gary is using one mistake to define himself as a total failure. What should Gary think instead? Pause the video and leave a comment with your answer. There's more than one correct answer, but here's what I came up with. I'm not always late, and just because I'm late today, it doesn't define me as a person. If I'm late more often than I'd like to be, I should work on that and become more timely. By thinking this way, Gary will feel less anxious about being late and motivated to improve in the future. So when you catch yourself overgeneralizing, just remember that one event doesn't represent a repeating pattern. The world is complex, and we use overgeneralization because it makes the world a little easier to understand. The next cognitive distortion you'll learn is called mental filter. You're nearly 25% finished with the course. Stick with it. The link to the next lesson is down below. And let's all try to have a little more headfulness.